Will we move to mate in 2?
Yes, please.
All right. White to play and checkmate a black king in 2 moves from here.
Okay, so straight away I see, again, I'll just talk out loud, knight to g5. So the bishop behind, he's got it in check. That's the first move. So then he moves to...
It's a double check. That's always very powerful. The only way to get out of a double check is by moving the king.
Right, so let's say he moves to h8. I feel like, is this right? I feel like, am I on the right track, Rick?
Well, it's not knight takes g5, but your idea of a double check is very powerful. But we need another double check, which is more effective. So have a look at that.
Is it the other way, knight to f6?
Okay, let's have a look. Knight f6, double check. The only way to get out of a double check is by moving the king. King has how many squares?
He can move to h8, and he can move to h6.
Okay, let's look at king h8 first.
And then the rook to h1.
Very nice. Rook h1. Knight,
so with checkmates in 2, is the first move always a forcing move?
Not always, no. Sometimes it's a tempo move. Sometimes it's it can be anything really. So okay. No, not always. Okay, but we weren't finished yet. Knight f6 check. We also can go to h6.
Right. Oh, it's the same thing. So rook to h1, please.
Yeah, same thing. The bishop takes that square away. Yes, it's not always a forcing move. I don't have the examples now, but there's also examples. Let me see if I can. No, I don't want to mess around now, but there's many examples where it's a very quiet move or a little tempo move, or maybe just a king move to lose time. There's many options. There's mate in 2. There are some. We're looking now at positions that could arise in a game. But there's also part of chess which is called chess composition, where we call them chess composers. They spend their whole lives composing problems, putting the pieces in a certain position when it's a very difficult mate in 2 or mate in 3, and that's some incredibly complicated solutions and complicated positions that really spend hours on the mate in 2.
So I've just been having a look at this while you were speaking.
Yeah.
Can I go to bishop to f6, please?
Bishop f6. I got another double check.
Yeah, and then he moves to g8.
Yeah.
And then the rook to h8.
Rook h8 checkmate, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the trick. So, yeah, it's really the only way. Otherwise, white is material down, so he has to play this way. And sometimes it doesn't matter if it's mate in 2 or mate in 5 or mate in 12. But in a situation like this, you really have to find the mate, because otherwise you just material down. So it's sometimes it's good to know these patterns and that you're able to deliver checkmate when it's there. White to play, mate in 2. A little bit more tricky.
Okay, so do we go with rook to b8? But then the rook on c4 can go to c8.
Yeah.
1, 2. Hold on. Boom. Boom. That's checkmate then. Oh, no, but then the queen. Yeah. Okay. So the knight is covering the square on h7. Okay, so how about, do we sacrifice the rook on g6 to h6? And then bishop takes. And then the rook to h7.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Talking about pieces working together. How beautiful is that?
Oh.
And look at those pieces. Looking on from afar, Black is ready to harass the white king, but he has no time. And that's why everything has to go with check.
Like obviously you started on my journey from the start. The viewers might be seeing it a bit now, but sacrificing is something. This is probably the first time we've ever spoke about sacrifice, really, isn't it, Rick?
I guess so. Yeah, I think so.
So
Yeah,
I'm
I would
happy
not
that.
in your games. I would not go. We had a game that we talked about on messages last week when you said, "Oh, I had to feel. I felt I needed to play bishop takes
Oh
f2."
yeah,
Yeah, that was a sacrifice that was not needed. But
yeah,
here it is. It's not only mate
yeah.
in two, but it's also the only way to win this game. Otherwise, you're losing. So, yeah, rook takes h6 is the only winning move.
I just thought, how can I get the rook on b7 to h7, and then I
Yeah,
worked it out backwards.
yeah. Well, that's exactly. You see the mating pattern, and then suddenly those moves are easier to spot. And you asked me only this week, how can you spot that? How on earth can you spot that? We're looking at a combination. Well, I
Yeah,
guess it works exactly the way you said there. You want that rook on h7, but it cannot. How did we get rid of that bishop? Well, actually, this is how we get rid of that bishop, because it's a
yeah,
forced move, and then a beautiful checkmate with rook and knight.
brilliant.
Well done, Aran.
Thank you.
Let's look at this one. White to play. We're attacking the black king with lots of pieces.
Yeah, she's a tough one. Okay, so um, okay, so do we do we take the queen onto g6,
Okay, what line did you see? Queen takes g6, and then
and then whichever takes. So
yeah,
let's say h7 takes, and then I. Oh yeah, you can't. Oh, I thought uh, pawn takes g6, but then the bishop can interpose.
yeah, that's a
Oh
pity.
yeah, but then if the bishop interposes, I could take the bishop.
Yeah,
Is that checkmate? No.
no, we gave up the queen. There was a bit too much. We gave the queen, and we don't have mate here. Your
Yeah.
idea of a queen sacrifice is correct, but not on g6.
Okay. Okay. So let's go for queen takes h7, and then the king takes back, and then I take the pawn on g6. Oh yeah, because the bishop.
Yes,
Oh yeah,
lovely, isn't it?
yeah.
Protecting the pawn.
Man, I can't believe it. Like I never would have said I'd sacrifice my queen, but for some reason it felt right here.
Yeah, it's and it doesn't always work. If you have a construction like this, it's not always made in two or whatever. Sometimes it doesn't work, but in this case it does work. Yeah, because of the crucially, as you said, this bishop is crucial to make sure g6 is protected when the
Yeah.
pawn comes there.
And when I started trying to scan the position, when I looked at d3, I was trying to see, oh, if I can take something, maybe the pawn on. Again, it's wrong, but I was just scanning. Maybe the pawn on g6 can't move. Can the pawn on f7 move? Because these bishops, they're from far. They pin, like we just saw, they pin pawn. So I scanned that first, and then I went to the next one. So that was
Yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah. Well done. Why to play? Mate in two.
Right, so I'm looking at the bishop c4 covering, the f7 and the g8 squares. So straight away, I think, though it's not, queen to f7, but then the bishop take and the rook takes.
Yeah,
So I don't think so. Okay, if I take now I'm just thinking if I take the pawn with the queen on g7, boom, rook takes, I take, then he takes the rook for free. That doesn't make sense. Hold on. Do I move the pawn to f6?
And then?
And then he takes. And then I move the queen to g8.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
nice.
is that checkmate, Rick?
This is checkmate, but I guess g takes f6 is not forced, right?
Oh, yeah.
For starters, I can just take this guy with check. And when you move your king, I'm going to take your bishop, for example.
Okay.
So,
I got happy a bit too quick there. All right, so Conga there, Kanga there. Hold on. Boom, boom. Do I take on e8 with the queen? Take. No. Right. Checkmate in 2.
it's a move with the queen.
Okay. Should we take the queen to f7 first? What does he do? He takes.
His only move is to take, yeah.
And then
A bit much.
that's not right, is he?
No.
Okay.
Your checkmate on this square was very nice that you saw that.
How do we get there?
And it's actually the rook who's going to give checkmate there. So now you have a few hints.
Okay. So, okay. How do I get the rook onto g8? Similar pattern that we had earlier. So, okay. f6.
Queen f6 or f6 or queen f6?
Queen f6.
Queen f6, yeah.
He has to take.
Yeah.
And then I move the rook to g8.
Yes.
Oh,
Checkmate.
that was tough.
And if he doesn't take, what is his only other move?
If he doesn't take, he can go. So he can interpose the rook.
Yeah.
And then I take the rook with checkmate.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh.
That was a tough one. But I'm happy that you saw the checkmating pattern of queen g8. And then I guess that helped you in finding the move queen f6 to open up the g file.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it has to be all done with check, because if you don't give check, then black very quickly gets counterplay with his own queen. So, yeah, that was a tough one. Queen f6 is the solution. Now, one last one, and then we move on to something else. And let's look at this one. White to play, mate in 2.
Okay, so take. I'll be honest with you, Rick. I don't even know where to start. I'm thinking queen takes rook on b8, and then the knight takes, and then hold on, and then knight to c7.
Yeah, you got there. What if you start with knight c7? Is that the same thing? Knight c7, knight takes c7 check. And my line is knight c7 check, king d8, queen b8 checkmate. And the knight cannot take the queen because it's pinned. Do you see the line I'm proposing?
So c8, boom.
No,
And
I said
then
knight takes c7 check is my
yeah,
first move.
sorry, c7, yeah.
Yeah,
And then that's
king
check.
d8.
Then he moves there, and then he takes.
And
And then
I claim this is checkmate because the knight is pinned.
oh wow.
Or am I talking nonsense?
Oh yeah, the queen can take on b4.
Yeah, suddenly the queen is there was a knight here in your line that was possible, but now we just gave away our queen. It's not checkmate at all. So we have to do it in your way. You have to first take on b8 because now black is powerless. So sometimes you have to move you have to try the moves in a certain order, and in this case, you found the right order straight away. Sometimes you don't find it straight away, and then it's good to try and play the moves in a different order. And sometimes the outcome is very different. That is a very common thing in chess. Change the move order in this, when you're calculating a line.
Yeah.
Happens a lot. Yeah, but you found this when you said queen takes b8, you did not really see knight takes c7 yet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, these are not that easy. You still found them, but they're not easy. Well done
Yeah,
on the
that's
mate
all.
in twos.
Thank you.